Hi everyone, welcome back to the London Football Show. International break upcoming, I think, after this weekend, so time for another episode. We'll start off with the England call-ups. Tuchel, I think, is first for picking his first squad. I know Razanfa wanted to add it to the list. I haven't seen the squad firstly, so what is the squad?
Well,
Um,
let's go back.
been
We're going
left
back
out.
to like 2016, 18, I think. If I
Well,
was to
who's in
say to
it?
you, Sion, if I was to say to you, Sion, Henderson is in the squad.
Oh
We're
my
not
God.
talking about the goalkeeper.
Jordan, you're talking about, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Oh my
Rashford,
God.
Rashford.
Oh my God. What?
No
Who
wonder
missed
you're
out?
sitting. Well, no wonder you're sitting so low down. It's
Nah,
ridiculous.
who missed out?
Um, I don't think
Trent's injured.
Trent's
Yeah.
You've
injured.
got
Yeah, Trent's injured.
Dan Burns in there. He's made it in. Dan Burn. I think Watkins is injured.
Oh
That
damn!
is
Wow.
Watkins. He's not in it.
I saw
Um,
I saw on the way home. I saw Skelly's in it. I saw it on Instagram. Is Bowen in it? Okay, yeah, that's good.
it's a stupid question.
Hey, you never know, man. Never know. He barely gets when Saka's injured. He should be starting right wing, and I still sometimes don't see him starting. So never know.
But you're
I don't know
true
if
though,
people
because
are
it
even
is
playing.
it is ridiculous. Like nothing against it is Jordan Henderson, isn't it? That
It's
you're
That's
Jordan
talking
that's
Henderson.
about.
disgraceful.
Henderson is
Like
in
you go
because
difference.
from the sublime to the ridiculous because you sort of put in the youngster from Arsenal in the squad, but yet you still put in Henderson. Like so, I'm a bit. So, is he being cagey? He's named four goalkeepers as well. Is he just is he just being cagey in the first time and doesn't want to upset people or what? I don't know.
Who are we
I don't
playing?
know. He's been Chelsea manager. What sort of formation are we going to look to play?
He's playing a back three. He's playing a back three. If it's anything to do with Chelsea, if it's anything to do like I think most
the fact that Dan
PSG. I
Burn
think he
got
played a
called
back
up.
three as well.
The
He
fact
likes
that
free
Burn
balls.
got
Dan Burn, I think, makes it a back three. I think
Is
that makes
Maguire
it.
in it? Is Maguire in the squad?
no, Maguire's not in it. He's injured. Maguire's injured.
Oh,
Walker's in
oh
it.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
fact that he's even called up Walker tells me he's giving back free energy.
Oh, Kyle Walker's still in it. Damn. But
Bonza got
hold on,
called
wait. If
up.
all these players are, I'm trying to think. There must be some youngsters that have missed out. Then
Yeah,
Yeah, who's the youngster in midfield for Palace who's quite good?
oh,
Andy.
Wharton.
Well, yeah, he's not in it.
Oh, okay. Well, I know where this is going. Oh, okay, then. Well, who are we playing in the friendlies then? Who are we playing? Is it friendlies or is it qualifiers?
To be fair, I don't know because I
friendly.
don't really.
There's no what's there to
Ah,
qualify
man.
for?
Like, I thought
Oh
this was
yeah,
like
yeah,
I thought this was the Premier League show or something. So like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
paid
yeah.
no
But
more attention to like this England squad that's
well,
sort of
hey,
been.
so I didn't add it to the list. I didn't add
Oh
it to
no,
the
he's
list.
arrived. Oh, you've sat up. Well done for sitting up.
I haven't. It's literally the
He's
same.
adjusted his chair. He's adjusted the chair or got a pillow. Well done.
Nah, not neither, by the way. But
I don't know. Let's ask
Albania.
our
We're playing
let's ask our
Albania.
followers.
playing
Who,
Albania and all
European
these old
qualifiers.
heads. Oh, these England squads are dry, man. No seasoning, man. Dry squads. Um, what's next, man? What's next on the list, man? But dead England, anyways, man. They're even gonna win the World Cup. So, um, Julian Alvarez. That penalty, you know what? You know what I'm seeing? You know what I'm seeing? Apparently, there's some microchip in the ball that can detect a double touch. That's what I'm hearing.
I didn't see it as a two touch. I didn't see it. I looked at it a long time, and then I saw a fantastic piece of punditry from someone on BBC. I don't know if it was Warnock, who's sometimes on Sky. The way he described it was that it was the fact that his standing leg slipped, and when he kicked it with his right foot, because his standing leg slipped, the ball then rolled over the standing leg as he kicked it. So although it didn't look as if it touched it,
Yeah,
and there was no deviation of the ball, the sheer fact that the standing leg slipped forward ahead of the ball as he's kicked it, the foot's gone forward ahead of the ball as he's kicked it. So the ball has unfortunately gone over his standing leg as he's kicked it. So you can't see that as he's
yeah,
kicked it, and that's where the double touch comes. So there's no deviation to the ball. There's no nothing. It's a very. I don't know who spotted it because the Madrid players. I saw a little clip that they were saying he's touched it twice, but
Mbappe. I know.
no,
I saw the like they were
Mbappe.
showing the
no
Mbappe
clip
was
of
protesting
evidence.
against the
Mbappe.
ref.
But you know what? You know what? Like if you look at like if you're just using natural physics, you're using natural physics. The way the ball loops like up and it dips under the bar, it can't be one touch. You can't do that. Think of like you can't do that with a
The thing
penalty
is, right, Sion
if
and I
it's
were
one
watching the
touch.
game. I saw him slip.
Yeah, but
It
it
is
defies
very
physics.
rare for a player to slip the way he did and also
Yeah,
score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But the way like the ball looped like and dipped just under the bar, it
So
defies the
we're
laws
all
of physics
saying,
for that to be one touch.
are we all saying that it is a two touch?
Is it too
Yes.
touch?
Yeah. So let's move on because there's no point discussing it
Well, tell
because
Diego, tell Diego Simeone that, man. Tell Diego, you see him
well, I
steaming in his
will. I
press
will. He's
conference
quite a
I
after.
think the
scary man.
discussion
He's quite a
is,
scary
should that
man. I
penalty
will tell
stand
him.
in the future? I think is, would you allow that going forward? Because rules
No,
change all
sure.
the
The thing
time.
is,
Yeah.
or
But
the real question is,
My answer, my question is, which I think is what you just said, but I didn't quite hear the end of it, is the biggest debate should be, was this due to VAR's input? So should VAR be allowed to input on a penalty shootout?
yes, I agree. I think they should. I think
Yes,
they should. Yeah.
but the thing is, right, just a bit relevant. There was a situation where I think it was either Bruno, I think he put a cross in to Ronaldo, and Ronaldo claimed he touched it, but he didn't. But it was Bruno's goal. And they
In
said
the
that
World Cup.
because the ball, it didn't pick up any frequency across along the cross, it was Bruno's goal. So we've seen this technology before. That has no relevance on VAR. The ball itself recognized that it did not touch Ronaldo's head. So it went as a Bruno goal. Same with the penalty. VAR just alerted. That's all they did. I'm saying the ref should have insight into whether or not the ball was touched twice or whenever the
So
line.
yeah, so he should
It's like
have.
goal line technology. VAR doesn't
Yeah,
intervene. You go
where
by the
he's got
goal.
it on his watch, where he's got it on his watch, whether it crosses the line or not, the ref's got it on his watch. He should have something that indicates whether the ball's been hit twice
There we go. Yeah.
in an illegal sort of way.
The real question though is if someone accidentally slips, should it be a retake?
No. I don't.
No,
No.
Should it
no,
be a
because
retake?
that's that you're wearing the wrong boots. You're not, it's
Yeah, that's fair.
ridiculous.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because we've seen many players slip. Do you think of your hero John Terry? Didn't he slip in the Champions League penalty
Yeah,
shootout
yeah,
in the pouring rain?
yeah,
Surely you've got a kit man that can change the boots before the penalty
yeah, yeah.
shootout
No, exactly.
starts,
Yeah, yeah,
where it's been raining for like the whole entire game. Surely,
But the
and
thing
you
is,
yeah,
check the ground. You check the ground.
but
yeah,
before
yeah.
VAR, we've seen penalties disallowed or caught because of the two touch. I know. What was his name? Fulham striker. I forgot his name. It's not coming to my head. He took a pen that touched twice. They
Mitrovic.
Mitrovic, he had a
Milovic.
penalty. Mahrez against Man City in the 3-1.
I
Touched
think
twice.
because this one wasn't as obvious. I think
Mm,
maybe I don't
Maybe,
know.
but I'm
I don't know.
saying a rule is a rule, right? Whether it touched,
Yes, 100%. 100%
yeah.
it was two touch.
Oh
100% it
yeah,
was
yeah.
goal
The ball
disallowed.
can't dip like that without it being too touch. It can't.
Well, it
Um,
depends. It depends if you're playing for the ditch or not. Oh no, they folded.
nah, it's not Newton's
Anyway,
laws. It defies
moving
Newton's
on.
laws. Unfortunately, I got an A in
Moving on.
physics.
Moving on. Sorry?
Man United,
Sorry? Sorry?
100K stadium.
Sorry?
A in physics. I got so yeah, 100K stadium, Rosanford.
I'll be honest,
Oh. Oh.
I feel two ways. I don't agree with it. I think Old Trafford is a bit of a like a staple. Not even just in football. I think it's just UK history, culture, like it's just something that's just always been there. It is going to be sad for it to be demolished. I'm always been a big fan of renovating it instead. Certain
Mm,
things I think in culture and history just has to stay there. I think it is sad when you see like things being demolished, like if we're talking, I guess, in terms of like what do you call it? What's the word? Gentrification, I guess if you want to use that word. Is always
mm,
not, people don't always like change. People don't like new things. Me personally, as a United fan, seeing Old Trafford go, given the history, what has been through, especially during the World Wars, even during the World Wars when it was bombed and everything, we still managed to retain its infrastructure, its status. So yeah, it'll be interesting. And from the pictures, I'm looking at it as someone that's been to Old Trafford regularly. I'm seeing the pathways down the middle. I'm like, where are they going to put this stadium? Old Trafford, you can never go through the middle. You always have to go from the side. So I don't know. I mean, 100,000. What does that leave for season ticket holders? Is there going to be an even split? Are they going to retain ticket holders?
I think it's a poor. I think the timing's poor of announcing it and trying to like say you're because from what all accounts, I could be wrong here. You might have to correct me here or something. From all accounts, Man United are basically saying they will pay for the stadium, but they want everyone else to pay for the regeneration around it. Now that's quite slightly different because people have spoken to me about West Ham sort of like well no, London decided to bid for the Olympics, so they regenerated Stratford. There's no like Olympics happening in Manchester. They're just regenerating Old Trafford, Man United Football Club, to have a bigger stadium of 100,000. I think they should have just redone Old Trafford and stayed there. And if they're expecting people to pay with taxes and all that and donations from the government for a regeneration of Manchester, which may be needed, I don't know. I'm not knocking Manchester as an area. I think it's poor because I think going back to what I first said, the timing of it is poor where they can't get their own house in order at the moment. And there's been a lot of discussions. You watch the overlap, all different podcasts and all that about Man United and all this. They're taking away 40,000 grand with the old players. They're taking away lunches from people that work there and all that. But yet they now announced in the same week, this stadium that's going to cost so much money.
Yeah.
And I just think there's a timing, and like you watch the interviews, and some people now, and I can say this because I know him. Some people can say, "Oh, it was a really good interview Gary Neville did with him, the owner, and all that." Yeah, realistically, yeah, it sounded good, but it wasn't as factual or as pushed. Like, do you know what I mean? It was good in parts, but he pushed what he know he could push because it was all pre-planned, I reckon. But I think that like that again, what's his name? Jim Ratcliffe, isn't it?
Yeah.
He interviewed with 5 or 6 major channels in one day, and if you listen to all of them, it's the same sort of line, and it's just wrong how Man United. How could you say Man United, if they didn't do what they did, would run out of money by
I was
November?
going to talk about that.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
outrageous.
How can you
It's
I was
say
going to
that?
say, what do you think about
How
that? Yeah.
can you say that? That's
Yeah.
just unbelievable. That is just surely not right unless you are running it, which they probably are, like many football clubs, running within the one business 3 or 4 businesses. So you've got the one business, Man United, like West Ham, like Chelsea, but within that, you've got 3 or 4 other businesses that are running within it. So you've got the playing side, that side of it. You've got the commercials, which is obvious.
Yeah.
But you can't say we would have run out of money.
You say, what did you say, November or something like that?
What is that all
It's a load of
about?
He's
rubbish.
off it, man.
I completely disagree with everything that was said on that interview.
Oh,
Like,
sorry.
one thing I agree with. For me personally, Man United is one of the biggest clubs. Look at the downfall we've had in the past 10 years, and yet we still have the most highest capacity, not dropped off. Viewership is still there, ownership is still there, fans are still attending no matter how bad it is. I'm sorry, but if you heard the game yesterday, the way the fans were cheering, that doesn't sound like we've fallen off.
No,
The thing is,
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
prices
I
have
thought
gone
for
up,
a,
and
I
yet
thought
Old
for a
Trafford
second,
gets
you
sold
understand
out.
that you didn't agree with me. But blimey. Anyway.
Oh, no. He said in the interview with the
No, I don't
interview.
agree with
Yeah.
what
I thought
Neville
you
Ratcliffe
were
and
saying
all
he
that.
didn't agree with what I was saying,
Nah,
but then I
No,
nah.
think what he means about the
for me,
interview.
for me, it's a whole lot of rubbish. I agree with you. It is scripted. It's just all PR. It's all PR. The thing is, Neville, he's on Sky Sports' payroll. He can't exactly say what he wants to, as either can he?
He
It's
needs
all
to go independent because even when he does, and to be honest, I love Gary Neville. I've met him a few times. He's genuine. He's quite a nice chap, right? But when you're in that, you can't really be yourself. You can't. Do you know what I mean? You've got to either come away from it totally and be independent totally. But you're never going to be like that. It's like Roy Keane. When you listen to Roy Keane on the overlap and all that when they were discussing it, he didn't say much because he knows he wants to turn up there when he wants. You know what I mean? He can't be
Yeah.
too vocal in that. But I think like if I can say this, if what I've seen on the pictures, if they manage to do that in 5 years' time, it'd be a lovely venue to go to. Don't get me wrong. It would be beautiful and it'd be state of the art and all that. But I don't feel it's necessary with what supposedly they're saying on one hand that they're running out of money, and supposedly saying on the other hand, well, we're the biggest club. We'll just get Old Trafford sorted out. Get
Yeah.
Old Trafford sorted out. What's the capacity of Old Trafford for Sanford?
75,000.
75.
Yeah.
So what we've got to do is build a little bit or extend something and make it 80,000. You don't need 80,000 and 100,000 is not much difference when you're looking commercial and money for a team of Man United.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not. It's like the argument with West Ham fans. Oh, Upton Park was 32, 34,000. If they just built on the stadium that they had in the Chicken Run, yeah, and they just doubled that and made it 45, everyone would be happy.
I'm gonna
Because that's
slightly
really.
dispute that. The only reason I say that is 20,000 is a massive jump.
No, but it means like in the
No,
revenue, like
In
I
with
mean
what
the
how
revenue,
big
revenue.
United are.
I mean,
revenue.
With
I
us.
mean, I mean the revenue and everything that you're going to make isn't that much difference for a club of Man United's size.
I mean, according to Ratcliffe, it is. So if we put it into numbers, 20,000, you sell a ticket at 50, that's 1 mil per game. if United are playing 2 games a week,
And then if that's the
you know,
case, will he reinstate the sandwiches for the workers?
I don't
Nah,
know.
you keep
What do I
your
know?
stuff.
I'm not a billionaire.
No,
You
that's
know,
what I'm
I'm just
saying. That's what I'm saying.
But you know
He's
what? These
taking the
guys
money.
are
He
you're
wants to
right.
take 40 grand, 40
no,
grand from the old players of the 60s, 70s for their fund to save money.
It doesn't make sense. I agree with that.
you know
But
what?
what
They've
Like,
changed the tune. They've changed the tune from when they started. I remember when they came. They remember they were saying 2028 they win the Prem. Now apparently like the other week they were saying next 4 years Europa League. Like we'll be happy with that. Like as in being in the Europa League. Like
mm.
they they
and I
they
think
they're
I think also
inconsistent. They've changed the tune across the board.
we've got to be sort of impartial and fair. We've got to mention other people like the Glazers and all that in terms
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like what are they actually contributing or doing? Do you know what I mean? And sort of things like that. But I just think it's difficult, and I just think it's difficult because Man United, they're a club I grew up with. Were tremendous players. Brilliant players. They went through a long era of time of like winning everything and developing. And like I was reading another book and reading other articles about Ferguson's era and how he started. And again, they were like I saw some sort of documentary about he didn't win anything for his first few seasons, and then he
yeah.
then went on and made a big decision to drop Jim Leighton, the goalkeeper, who he bought from Aberdeen with him to Man United in the replay against Crystal Palace in the FA Cup, and Lee Martin scored the winning goal and the only goal, and that was his first trophy. And he put
They were they
Les
were gonna
Solly
they
in.
were gonna sack him. They were gonna sack
He
him if
put
he didn't
Les,
win the
well, they were
semi-final.
going to sack him in the third round unless Mark Robbins scored the winner against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's there. But good luck to your new stadium at Anfield. I hope you can afford a season ticket or get a ticket. But I look forward to seeing it in 5 years' time, as long as I ain't paying for it.
Oh
Anyway,
man.
next on the agenda. Next on the
What's
agenda.
next? What did Ross say? Chelsea winning Conference League success. Okay. Just winning the Conference League, no, because it's Europe's third tier competition and we've won Champions Leagues, Europa Leagues. Winning Europe's third tier competition is not success for a club of our stature. Success at the start of the season for me would have been top four and a domestic cup, FA Cup or League Cup. 'Cause we haven't won either of those in quite a few years now. FA Cup since 2018, League Cup since 2015. So that would have been top four, and one of those cups for me would have been success. Top four and Conference League, I would say fair enough. Satisfactory season. I'll say not like overachieved or anything. Just that would have been the bare minimum I expected, to be honest. In terms of Conference League, obviously we scraped through, not scraped through, 3-1 on aggregate, but we weren't good across the two legs. A lot of our players are out of form, and what I've noticed with Cole Palmer, as crazy as it is, he's actually missing Nicholas Jackson being there because him and Jackson actually have some chemistry between them. Having Jackson's making the runs sort of in behind to sort of give him Palmer a little bit more space in games. Now we don't have a striker. Um, like Nkunku obviously wants to kind of drop deep as well, and obviously Palmer is sort of being affected by that. So actually, even though we need an upgrade on Jackson, just in the short term, I actually need him back. He ain't back for Arsenal. I think he's back after the international break. Um, but yeah, hopefully we win the Conference League, but I'm more focusing on top four. I haven't even watched all the
So,
Conference League.
so if you're saying that, let me just flip that a little bit and go to
Yeah.
the other side. If Man United win the Europa League, would you be happy?
Oh, what, Rosanthon?
No, not
Oh,
the Sanford. I'm asking.
oh,
course,
United winning. That's a success. That's a
of
success.
course, yeah, but
Champions League football next season.
I want to highlight. I'm glad Sion articulated his response the way he did, because the ultimate point of my question is success subjective or objective? And if it is subjective, is it because of the standards of the clubs? So Sion mentioned that winning the Conference League is not good enough. But if we go to West Ham's point, which Joe Cole brought up in his one of his questions, winning the Conference League for West Ham was massive. It was
Yeah,
great. It was almost
yeah,
fundamental. And then also just my other point, if United win the Europa League this season, that'll be three back-to-back trophies each year. League
yeah,
Cup, FA Cup, Europa League. If we compare the team that's miles ahead of us, Arsenal, second, second, second. Now, is that also success compared to United's 3 years of trophy, but then not finishing in the top 10 or eighth and then 14th, 15th? Where does success, how do you define or measure success in that
I
situation?
think that's a terrific point. And
Yeah,
again, like you said, I agree with Sion as well. But that's true. The point with Stanford, because if you take it back to like the root of what we are, and we're fans. We're fans of football. We're fans of our club. Can you put up with just finishing second or third in the league for 3 or 4 years with no trophy and you're happy? Or do you want to just have that experience every year of winning a final? It's the experience
yeah,
that you have as a fan. So it's like, it's balancing that. But I just think it's difficult for clubs like Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, because of the success they've had over long periods of time. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? So you can afford. Like you look at West Ham, right? You look at West Ham 2 seasons ago; they win the conference. You couldn't get any more people in Stratford High Street when they came home the next day. Like you
mm,
couldn't get any more people in that high street. You couldn't get any more going to Prague for the final. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And that is because, as a fan, I'd rather take that. And it didn't happen, but obviously, if we'd gone down that season, because that was the worst season where we finished in the Premier League with David Moyes when we won the Conference League. I would have probably took going down and still having the final. It's similar. Where I think when Wigan won the FA
Wigan.
Cup,
They
they
got
went
relegated
relegated.
3, 4 days
You
after. Yeah,
tell me a Wigan fan that would never have wanted to have gone to Wembley that day and won the FA Cup.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So it's what you're sort of what you're saying. I think is so true, but it's very. I don't sort of wish it upon like fans of Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, because it's difficult because you're going to constant finals or you're going. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's that balance of like I personally. If I was a fan, even if we were finishing second in the league for 3 or 4 years, but no trophies, I'd be a bit like bored and frustrated and
yeah,
questioning like, I want some sort of trophy. You look at Tottenham, they're on the verge of sacking their manager all season. You hear a story every week about he's got to go, he's got to go, but
mm,
yet they could end up getting to the final of the Europa League and winning that. What will
yeah,
if they go on and win that? What are they now then saying about their manager? He's promised
yeah,
what he said. He wins a trophy in his second season, but then they will be absolutely over the moon to win the Europa League, no matter where they finish in the Premier League. I guarantee you that.
yeah.
They've
100%,
had
100%.
no
Yeah.
success
I think,
for
yeah.
years.
Hmm.
But like you say, if it was like, man, if it was like,
Yeah.
Arsenal, you know, dare I say it, Arsenal winning the Champions League, will they still be disappointed they didn't win the Premier League this year?
No, it'd
Probably.
be one of the most successful seasons ever.
Yeah, but some people say, well, because they wanted the Premier League. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's,
they
it's that,
got.
it's that, it's that sort of. So you got to look at it from a fan's point of view.
Yeah,
But
I think you look at obviously the what they've done sort of like historically over like many years, but then you also sort of look at like the season before or a couple of seasons before. In Arsenal's case, like if they came second and won the League Cup, it's probably success because it's second as they've done the previous 2 seasons, but they actually got over the line in the competition.
and I think
But
also it helps Arteta. He needs to win something.
yeah, and
Do you
it's
know what I
only
mean?
it's only the
It's like
Champions
what they
League
say
now.
about Harry Kane. He goes through seasons. He might win Golden Boot, but he's winning no major trophy. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? When he was at Tottenham. And also, it'd be nice. I do think this. It would be nice if Chelsea win the conference and Man United or Tottenham win the Europa League. That the Premier League's back in that remit of winning 2 out of the 3 European trophies. I don't think a Premier League team will win the Champions League now. I don't see Villa winning it, and I don't see Arsenal winning it. But if
yeah.
if we can win the Europa League, and then that obviously generates more of a like, because people say how good the Premier League is, the Premier League, but realistically, are we doing it enough in Europe? And like it was
In terms of Europe, Spanish teams
four,
dominate like
4 or 5 years ago. Are we like that yet? No.
the two major European competitions, obviously Real Madrid and Sevilla have won the Europa League the most. So like it's a Spanish whitewash,
Yeah,
basically, if we're going
that's what I'm
according
saying.
to
Yeah.
European
But
competitions.
anyway,
Not even
anyway,
like split
anyway,
like one's
anyway.
another country.
Premier League weekend. There is some Premier League.
What's next? We'll
There
do,
is
we'll
some
do
Premier
that one
League.
after. Liverpool, 16 points. I mean,
You don't want to talk about that, so let's go on to like the matches. Who
yeah.
have we got the weekend? Because I want to talk a little
We're
bit
away at the
about who
Emirates.
West Ham have got. So we're going to Goodison Park.
The
Last time
Moyes Derby.
David Moyes, he spoke so well today. I was listening to his press conference today. He spoke so well about West Ham and his time at West Ham and how he has real good, strong relationships with still some of the players and the people that work there. I think no matter what, I think there will be a period within that game where there will be acknowledgement of David Moyes from the West Ham fans. I think, irrespective of the result, I think he's done a terrific job for Everton, and it's his comfort zone. And he will take them to their new stadium. Fantastic. He's not even been there yet until it's mathematically safe, which I think is great. And I think West Ham are safe. I think we would have survived. It's just it would have been nice to have seen us be pushed a bit because I think we're at the end of the season already. It's like very much sort of like we're just going through the motions because there's no way Leicester or Ipswich are going to win six of their last 9 or 10 games to even reach where we are. So it's a bit of a shame, but tomorrow could be an interesting game. It could be a free-flowing game. It could be lots of goals or anything like that. So obviously, as I've said that now, I'm going to go for a 0-0 prediction. But yeah,
Wait,
Arsenal,
speaking.
Chelsea.
Wait, well, hold on. Speaking about the bottom clubs, obviously you wanted to bring in
Oh
the
yes,
gap between the newly promoted clubs and the
was I
established.
right in what I said earlier on, off before we came on air, about did the three that came up 2 years ago go down last year?
I think so. I believe so.
And that looks like it's going to happen again.
When last did two of the three promoted teams stay up?
This is my issue. Is the championship and the gap between the championship and the Premier League too much?
It's the
Is
probably
it
it's the
because
money, man. It's the money with the TV deals and everything like that. I think everything contributes. Like the teams that go down, they've obviously got all that money from obviously being shown on Sky
Well, the
Sports a
thing
couple
is,
times in the season.
two of the three championship sides that got promoted were kind of staples in the Prem prior to the season before. Leicester were in the season for many years. Come on now, FA Cup and Prem winners.
Southampton?
Southampton, yes, fair
Southampton.
enough. They're not exactly great, but they will finish in top half, even eighth at one point.
Mm.
So I wouldn't
Yeah,
necessarily class them as a championship, nor would I compare their books or their accounts or their finances to a championship side. I think it's just the quality of the team, their
Mm.
attraction, their management. I think it's just as soon as they fell into championship, their mentality changed. I think that's the
yeah,
problem because if you think about it, Brentford, Brighton have all qualified or promoted and have not dropped down yet. They've
yeah.
been for quite a few
Bournemouth
seasons.
as well.
Bournemouth,
Yeah.
They went down once and then come back
Oh
up
yeah,
though.
Bournemouth went down. Yeah, yeah. 2020. Yeah,
Yeah,
COVID. They went down.
but they just managed to get back.
but
So
then okay,
but they've stayed in
so
more than one season. Every time they've come in, they've stayed in more than one. So
um.
Yeah.
yeah, I like
You
that
go even
myself.
further back, Palace all the way back, was it 11, 12 when they got promoted? Still yet to go down.
Mm.
They
You
could have
can say
easily
that.
been in that
You can say
situation.
that about West Ham. West Ham, Sam Allardyce took us to a playoff final against Blackpool to get us back up to the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's the last time we were relegated. And before then, we were up and down like a yo-yo.
Fulham
But it's
recently
just,
were also up and down, but they've somehow managed to cement themselves in a mid-flight position. So I think it
I
can be.
just worry. I just worry that in a few years' time, people will be talking not about a Super League, but maybe about a split again, like making the Premier League just 12 teams, and then having a Premier A League. Then the chat. Do you know what I mean? I just think there's too much of. If we're going to have teams coming up now, so if we have Leeds come back up, if like who are top of the table, Sheffield United who are second come up,
Burnley
right,
third. Mhm.
and maybe Burnley, right? They've all been up and they've all gone back down.
Yeah.
Will it happen again? So where's the sort of I don't know. It's like then you have the teams above them three bottom teams, like the likes of Wolves. I'll include West Ham this season, but hopefully that will change. Like your Everton's, like your Palace, like the teams that they don't have enough incentive to like work hard. Do you know what I mean? Because they know there's three teams worse off. You hear this phrase, three teams worse off, so many times now the last couple
Yeah.
of seasons.
Hmm.
And it's just sort of like I think the Premier League need to look at the season because like the old adage like you look at that championship league table the championship table, yeah, there's only I think one team, maybe two, that have never been in the Premier League. I think one's Plymouth, I can't think of the other one is, but everyone else has been in the Premier League. You go down to League One, you've probably got about 7 or 8 teams in League One that have been in the Premier League. You can even go down to League Two because you've got Swindon Town. There's one or two, and Bradford. There's one or two that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, is there a case over the next few years, which I think will be interesting, which I'm going to start thinking and talking about, is the restructure of the Premier League, and then having like an extra. I just don't know. I just don't know. I just think it's like it's not nice seeing Southampton where they are.
No,
You know,
Yeah.
it's not
It's
nice. It's not nice seeing Ipswich
struggling to
trying to
get
play
10 points
football.
or like
They're on
15 points.
9 points in
mentioned
the
that.
West.
Have
I
they
don't know
wait?
if I brought
How many points are Southampton? They could they still
nine,
break Derby's record?
nine, two points off.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, they need
You
two
mentioned that.
draws.
I don't know if I brought this up on a previous podcast. There's a case study. Nottingham Forest and Luton Town. They finished close. near the bottom of last season. Now look at the difference this season. Nottingham
Yeah,
Forest challenging for Champions League, Luton on their way to getting relegated from Championship.
complete
But these are
opposites.
That's
the
mad.
opposites,
Yeah,
but these are two teams that finished maybe a point or two within each other last season. I think it's mentality.
Yeah, and also I
Mentality.
think it's also with Sanford. Sorry, I think it's also Forest invested. If you remember their first season back in the Premier League,
yeah. They
they
bought
had
loads.
so many players on. So they had to rebuild but they had so many players. It was like they couldn't fit all in the changing room. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I think if they invested, which they did, they've got the. I may be wrong here, but I think it's a Greek guy that is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
over some other European, whatever type, team as well.
Mhm.
And I think that's where Luton. But the comparison you're making with Sanford, yeah, again, solid point again with Sanford. You're good tonight. You're good tonight. I tell you. But Luton Town will go down to League One, and they were playing last game of the season at West Ham at London Stadium last year. You know. So I think,
Mhm.
but Forest, give Forest their due. I'm just looking at that league table.
Yeah.
Yeah, Southampton have got 10 games left and they got 9 points. What's the record?
11.
11. Derby. Oh, 7 oh 08.
So you're telling me they're going to lose 8 and draw? Oh my God.
No,
Surely they could.
Southampton, they need to get the two draws first. They've drawn. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed they
I
get.
don't know how many
They
games
might. They
they've
might
won.
draw with Derby. They might get two draws to draw with 11 points. Or if they win a game, then obviously they overtake.
Another team we should mention when we're talking about teams who are consistent in the Premier League is Fulham. I'm just looking at them.
You know
Fulham.
what? Yeah. Speaking of
Fulham.
Forest, right? If Forest get top four, obviously I hear people like obviously a lot of the time the whoever wins the league, the manager gets manager of the season. If Forest get top four, it's Nuno surely.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it never happens. It is. It is. For every
But it
normal
should be. It should
fan,
be Nuno.
if for every normal fan, it would be
Yeah.
Nuno.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah. I can't believe like, and what if they no, but then it has to be cemented
But
if
then
they win the
Slot
FA
has
Cup
done
as well.
well. Slot
If
has done well.
but if Forest win the FA
That's
Cup, if
easy.
Forest win the FA Cup as well, then it must be Nuno. Then I would say if Forest win the FA Cup and get top four, I would say it's a robbery if Nuno doesn't get it. But
Yeah,
I
but there's
wouldn't say
been
it's a
lots of
robbery
robberies on
if
the
they.
manager of the year. The manager of the
No,
year
no, no.
is
But it wouldn't be a robbery if Slot won it with just Nuno getting top four. Even though I still think he should win it, but the FA Cup alongside that should cement it. It should
no, I
cement it
agree
because
with you. But I'm
no
saying
one
there's
would have
been other
bought Forest.
managers in the past that have done something similar, won a trophy and finished and don't win it because Pep gets it because he got a record of 100 points or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Something
like yeah,
stupid like that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So, but I agree. I agree. But anyway, you've got
Arsenal.
Chelsea, Arsenal, Chelsea. Quick
Yeah.
prediction, please.
Well, I won't give my score away, obviously for obvious reasons, because we're obviously got the predictions league. But I do think Arsenal beat us. I do think Arsenal beat us. I've got an
Okay.
Arsenal win in my scores, which will come out tomorrow,
Man
11:30.
United, Man United playing away at Leicester. I think we just talked
Leicester,
about
Yeah,
Leicester.
7
yeah,
p.m.
yeah.
Will they
That's
do Ruben Van Nistelrooy a favour and let him win?
nah.
I can't reckon that could be a Leicester win, you know. I might put that down in my predictions,
I've
ARCL.
got a United win, but what's it in terms of our game at Arsenal? Our record there is bad. Last 10 years, it's been like we've won there 3 times in the last 10 years. We haven't won there since 2021, Lukaku's debut, 21-22 season. So yeah,
You're
I
due
do
a win
think the
then.
thing is, even though
You're
Arsenal
due
are
a
not in,
win. You're due a win.
yeah, but even though Arsenal are
Maybe
not
get
obviously
maybe
flowing,
get Chelsea to watch on Saturday night. Maybe get Chelsea to watch the last 2 games West Ham have been at the Emirates because they've won 2 in a row at the
yeah,
Emirates.
yeah, West Ham's record there is
Yeah,
good. But
maybe get them
in
to
terms of
watch that or something, you know, in the
in
hotel
terms of
room or something.
Arsenal,
You
I
know?
think I think it'll be a tight game, but I can sort of rely on Arsenal's defense to sort of like their defense is going to be solid. Raya, I think Raya's had an excellent season by the way. And then obviously Gabriel and
Golden glove or
Saliba.
whatever you call it is outstanding. That save he made at the end against Man United, and people said Fernandes should have done better. I think it came at him a bit, and he had to he was too straight on it or so. I think he
Yeah,
got, and it was a great save. It was just unfortunate
the
that
one the one that should
it didn't
obviously yeah,
spin in.
Mazraoui's one excellent save. Bruno's one I agree. Hoyland's one should have been the goal. The one when
No, I think
like
Mazraoui could have also put it in the corner. I think Mazraoui
yeah,
had too
but
much time.
you know what, like the IQ of footballers. I looked at Hoyland where he takes the touch towards Rice
Yeah, he does.
instead of taking it away, getting his body in the way. I'm just like, what's happened? Like even you know what I've noticed,
Who
with
who who did he
Hoyland,
say?
Rasmus
He took the
Hoyland.
ball off of who? Of who?
Nah, nah, Rice
Away
tackled
from
him to save them.
Oh, Rice. Declan Rice, who left us to go and win trophies. Oh, okay.
Well, you know
Sorry,
what? If
sorry,
I look at strikers sort of like making sort of fundamental errors like that, I look at goalkeepers. I would say what Hoyland did for a goalkeeper is the equivalent of not pushing a ball out wide when making a save, pushing it back into danger. It's just that I
Anyway,
don't know. I don't know what it is.
anyway, because I'm conscious of time, because some of us have worked all week.
Yeah,
Southampton,
I have
Man
as well.
United to beat Leicester.
Yes.
They're beating
I don't
Leicester.
think it'll be comfortable. I think they'll win. Arsenal and Chelsea, I'm gonna go a draw. If Chelsea can go there and just produce a low block, they'll win. They'll do fine. Arsenal struggle to break down low blocks. They couldn't break us down against in the weekend. They've also struggled so much. I
Yeah.
don't think they have their attackers cannot finish for to save their life. I mean, I understand PSV was already done and dusted, but they couldn't even get a result out of that one at home. So I think Arsenal, I mean Chelsea, just go there, do the low block, two sets of five, you come away with a point. Can't complain. Maybe Cole
Uh,
Palmer gets a penalty and scores.
Maybe.
good on you. Good on you, lads. Good. And then international break after that, and we can relax. So
Yeah,
we could have points for all three of our teams maybe this
but I hope
weekend.
so. Yeah, I'll
Which
take a point. Obviously, going
I
away,
think
the Emirates
if
never.
we all get points, whether it's 3 or 1, I think we've all done well this weekend. Us
Yeah,
at Goodison, you at the Emirates. I think you're the only team really at Leicester that could really get the 3. I think either me and Sion's teams a point we'd both be happy with. I think.
yeah.
But
What do you think?
anyway,
What do you think about top four? We'll wrap up with like the top. Who do you think?
oh God, get the
Wait, is
phone
it?
out again.
Wait, is it
It's
so? Wait,
very
hold
close.
on.
Newcastle were good against West Ham.
Bournemouth are ninth. From ninth to us is 5 points.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's very tight. Obviously, Liverpool, Arsenal. I reckon. I still think it could end up with Man City in the top 4,
I think it's
and
Man.
possibly Chelsea. I think although Forest are picking up the points, I just worry that. Let me have a little look. See who they've got
I
left.
think. I think
They've
fifth.
still got. Well, they go away to Ipswich. Then they've got the FA Cup, which they might have one eye. They've still got to play Man United at home, Villa away, Everton at home, Spurs away.
I think top five's getting Champions League. With the coefficient as well. That might have even take like the pressure off. Not pressure, but like fourth. You might finish fifth
Look,
and
look,
still
I'm
get.
not being funny. You can finish 10th in the Premier League and get European football. It's ridiculous. It needs to go
That's
back to the old school when it used to be. If you got into the Champions League because you were champions of your division,
yeah,
not
yeah,
like not finishing fourth.
yeah,
What's champions about that? Do you know what I
yeah, yeah.
mean? It's
Exactly.
just
Yeah, yeah.
ridiculous. It's
If
ridiculous.
anything, now it should be called the European Cup still because of that. The European Cup is not. Yeah, it's not champion.
We'll have to have a podcast on the actual format of the new format. Did it work?
But yeah, James, in terms of Champions League format, we'll do an episode where we go
Yeah,
through group stages and see
yeah.
if what's or not our thoughts on it and everything like that.
I just
But
think it'd be interesting to see was it worth doing it because you did get some really good games, but is it a
yeah,
fair system? Is it a fair system? But
but
no,
yeah,
other than that, yeah, good chat, boys. Lots to think about. Maybe we need to, prep the England squad before we talk about it earlier on. But it's an interesting squad. So get the Premier League done. Oh, what about? Should we have a little prediction of the League Cup final on Sunday?
yes,
Because there's no
yes,
trend.
yeah,
I
go
think
on.
I heard something today which I thought was a valid point. I think the pressure is more on Newcastle than Liverpool because this is their second or third final in the last so many years.
Second,
They
yeah,
need to win one.
yeah,
They can't keep getting to finals and then not winning because they've
yeah.
waited so long.
I
But
think Newcastle are going to do it.
I'd like to see them do it
I
because
would love to see Newcastle win.
I think
Yeah.
Liverpool Premier League Liverpool be happy with that.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping for like a 3-2 Newcastle win in extra time.
I'm hoping the fact that Liverpool went all the way, extra time and penalties, that's more of my thinking in terms of like, obviously Konate went off, Trent's missing. Obviously
Oh,
Newcastle have
what, on
their players
Tuesday?
missing as well.
Yeah.
Newcastle have their players missing as well, but I think it's a little bit more. It's leveled up a bit. If Liverpool didn't play Champions League, I think they win. I think they win, but
What's your prediction? What's your prediction?
uh, 2-1 Newcastle.
In 90 minutes?
No, in after 120. 1-1 at 90 minutes and 2-1 after extra time.
I'm gonna go 1-1 after extra time, then Newcastle win on pens.
Oh yeah, Nick Pope if he's
It'll be
fit.
cagey. I think he'll be cagey. You know what, Allison? Allison's not good at saving penalties.
Well,
He's
geezer
not good at
Kelleher,
penalties.
he could bring on Kelleher
Oh
with
yeah,
a
yeah,
minute,
yeah. I
with
forgot
a
about
minute
that.
to
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
Keller.
sometimes, Southampton, that sometimes happens, doesn't it? The manager can substitute a goalkeeper with like a few seconds to go just before a penalty shootout, and the goalkeeper has to accept it. There was a team, who was it now? Was it Chelsea again? And the
Kepa
goalkeeper
didn't refuse to come
refused
off.
to come off. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Typical Players getting a bit above themselves. Never doubt the manager. Trust the process. Although Arsenal have been trusting the process for 5 years and they've won absolutely. Oh,
You know what?
anyway, wrap it up. Wrap
To
it up, Seal. Don't go on about Chelsea. Wrap it up. Come
no,
on.
no. Well, I mean, I wasn't
What's
going
it
to. I was
to do?
gonna
Let's
say.
go.
I was gonna say it backfired on us because we tried bring Kepa on 2 years ago, 3 years
Mm.
ago, when Mendy was having a blinder. By the way, we should have just kept Mendy in goal for those penalties. But
Anyway,
yeah.
anyway,
But thanks
Sal's great.
everyone for watching.
Chelsea fan.
Like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you all again soon.